Hey, what's up? It's Rashad Antonio, OG, of course, man. We are back to Calrissian Kids. Lando definitely raised us in Bad Batch on Disney Plus. Going through episodes 4 through 7, which are essentially 2 episodes because 4 and 5, 6 and 7 are companion pieces. So, again, all spoilers. We're going to go over episodes 4 and 5 first. Probably just do that as one big episode. So, what happened, Tony?
Basically, we last left off where Omega and Crosshairs have escaped the Empire, and they're on the run. Their shuttle is damaged, and they're just trying to escape. So Omega and Crosshairs are forced to crash land on the planet Lao, or whatever, how you pronounce it, LAU, whatever. They make their way to a nearby spaceport where Crosshairs wants to. Crosshairs is like, hey, we need to get off this planet. Let's just shoot our way through this. We're gonna shoot our way through. We're gonna shoot our way through this. Say through the spaceport, hijack a ship, and get out of here. Omega's like, hey, yo, let's just get some money. The money we need. Let's just get some money and try to bribe our way. So they go to the spaceport. I guess commandant or whatever the person in charge of that spaceport, and it's like, hey, two people wanted to, make their way up here, and stuff like that. What would they have to do? The person's like, are you trying to bribe me? Okay, but if you want to do that, this is what you got to do. It's it gave her a number. I'm not even sure. I can't remember the number. I think 35 credits or something. For,
Yeah. It was something. It was like
35,
it was 35,000 credits.
35,000 credits or whatnot. And they was like 35,000. She's like, hey, you better be glad I'm not charging your dog thing over here. So
Mhm.
35,000 credits for nothing at all. And so they're like, all right, cool. And so Omega is fine. We'll get some money. Um, and they decide to go and they steal some clothes and they go to like a little bar. Thatcher, the little dog thing, Crosshairs, and Omega. And they see that people are betting and playing a game. Come to find out, a lot of people thought the game they were playing was Sabak, which we
No,
all know and love,
it's a
but it
different
wasn't
game.
Sabak. They came out, it was a different game, similar to Sabak, but not. So think maybe like instead of Sabak is like poker, this probably was like Jim Rummy or something. I don't, you know, or take it back to the hood, Tonk. what, what
I can
say, or
relate to
whatever,
that.
right, whatever like that. And so they so Omega, as we know, is good in strategy and stuff like that. And Crosshairs is like, all right, if you're gonna do this, make sure you don't mess this up. And they go, and she's like, wipes the floor with this dude and all the money.
Yeah, because you gotta
Meanwhile,
remember,
there's
like
this,
back in the other season, back in Sid's, that was a gambling
yeah,
spot, and she just started gambling just to pass time. And Sid was like, "Hold on,
right,
yo, you actually pretty good at this. Let's make some money." So, shout out
right, and
Sid.
then also too, like, and also too, her special ability was strategy. So she was like a strategy person like that. So she they get like basically all their money or
Wipe the
whatever,
floor with them
and
boys,
then
yo.
here, huh?
She wiped the floor with
Say what?
them. I said she wiped the floor
Right.
with them.
She wiped the floor with him. So then comes enter. Of course, it's always imperial jackass, it never it's always an imperial jackass. He comes in with some troopers and he's like, well, you're leaving so soon. What are you doing here? And then you see Crosshairs like, hey, yo, let's get the hell out of here right now. He's like looking at her from across the room, like, let's go. And she's like, hold on. And she's like, fine. And she kind of wipes the floor with him too. And he's like, never played this game. And she's like, all right. He was like, where do you think you're going? She was like, we won. We out of here. You need to pay your basically your taxes for this. This is illegal gambling type thing or whatever. And she's like, really, dude? Okay, bet. She gives him the money and stuff, and she leaves. The Imperials by this time also have snatched up the dog.
Yeah, Space
Snatched
Dog.
up the
Space
little
Dog is gone.
space dog Batcher. And they're like, yo, man, Omega's like, hey, I'm going to get my dog. And then Crosshairs is still kind of on this whole look here, little girl. F your dog. We need to get off this planet. And so she says, fine, here, you take your little credits. I'm going to get my dog or whatever, my space dog or whatever. And he's like, fine, we're gonna get you, So he's like, all right, bye. And long story short, she sneaks onto the spaceport. She sees that Batcher is caged up, and she's about to go in there, but Crosshair stops her, and she's like, I thought you was leaving. He was like, man, look, I ain't letting you go in here by you. Girl, I ain't letting you go in here by yourself. Come on, we're gonna get the dog. We're gonna get the space dog. Where the little Imperial jackass dude, he shows up and was like, you didn't think I'd recognize you? They're looking for you. You're on the most wanted list type thing. And then she was like, she looked at Crosshairs and like, yeah, remember your plan? Let's go ahead and go with that. And they just started shooting their way out. They finally get on the they're finally able to steal one of the ships, and there you go. They're off the planet. They get off the planet. They send a homing beacon because if we remember, Tech made Omega remember every last protocol that they had. And because the protocol where he sacrificed himself was protocol 99, but it was another protocol they had where they send it out on a transmitter.
70?
She lands on the 70 or something like
that.
Lands on a planet. There's Wrecker and there's Hunter. And they're like, kid, we're so glad to see you. We've been looking all over for you. And it was like, how'd you escape? She was like, I had some help. And who comes up? And Crosshair comes off the ship too. And you see Hunter and Wrecker like, this motherfucker.
This right.
This motherfucker right here. This motherfucker right here. And that's how the episode ends.
That show was funny, man. So after that, it's had episode 5, The Return. They end up going to Pabu. Echo shows up. They said, look, man, we got Nalose's data patch, trying to get this info off of it. They're like, look, they're conducting experiments on clones and Tantus. Not really sure why, what they're trying to do. So the whole bit, right? So they end up going back to another spot. And I totally forgot when I first watched this, but I was like, hold on, yo. This is where Crosshair already was before. You know what I'm saying? So last season he was on that planet, and that's where he had his quote unquote walkabout with the Empire, because they didn't care nothing about them. They care more about their cargo. And he says, look, yo, I know a base. Ain't nobody gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? So the episode ended up turning up to be like you had a space worm. You know what I'm saying? A snow worm instead of a sandworm.
Right. I was about to say that.
And that was like the gist of the whole episode. So they had trying to find some way they can link and put the information in so you can see what's going on. Nothing really came about that. The whole point of the
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying too, I think one of the big parts of this episode too was that this was for Hunter.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean it.
No, you good. Nothing really came about. No real information. They didn't get much information off the data pad. But the whole point of this episode was the reconciliation tour for the batch. Like, they had to be able to trust them. And there was some shenanigans that went about. Hunter was running, Crosshair was running. They had to work together as a team, like back in the old days. And that kind of brought them back together. That was basically the whole point of the episode. Was like, look, yo, y'all hate each other, but y'all gonna have to love each other again.
Also, too, we realized too that Hunter, his hands still jacked.
And Crosshair, yeah. It's weird because I'm like, does Crosshair have like some sort of like space Parkinson's disease or something? Because he's losing his control of his it could be his nervous system. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, again, we talked about last time, like, we're not sure if the experiments they had on him was something that make him like be like to debilitate him. So it's just really even if it's just a function of him losing his
Yeah,
his ability, his number one ability as a clone, and him
yeah,
having just for story
it's,
purposes to
yeah.
be able to do something else. You know what I'm saying? But still, it's like it's really interesting.
Because remember, he was practicing on Pabu before they left his sniping, and it was the same little robot that we seen from last season, who was like, "Hey man, they say you are at a 50%." You are at 50% now. You're like, yo. And it's crazy to say that he's 50% now, considering we saw what last season when they stormed that building and my man was reflecting shots off of them little mini mirrors and stuff. Yo, Hunter was like the Legolas of the guns. With how Legolas in
He
Lord of the Rings in
he
with
really
the arrows.
was. Yes.
Hunter was doing that with the daggone guns and shooting and sniping wise, like off of bouncing off of stuff like that. And he's like having to deal with that. But I thought it was a solid episode too, because I kept saying to myself, we've been here before, but I can't remember where. But then when they went into that room and Hunter had put the helmets of the clones that passed away, stacked them back up, I said, oh, this is where we're at. This is so messed up. And that was the end of that episode and that arc of
Mm-hmm.
so episode 4 and 5.
Yeah, so 6 and
Um,
7
6 and 7 basically is one episode.
as well.
And yeah. And so basically, we start the episode off with
Oh,
everyone's
yeah.
favorite clone.
Name of the story is Infiltration.
Yes, Infiltrations, episode 6. Started off with everyone's favorite clone, Captain Rex. Rex and his, band of clones that saying that they're able to turn the Empire, and they're trying to, saying free their brothers and everything, he is being a bodyguard for Avi Singh, the former senator of Raxus, and they're secretly meeting with Rio Chuchi who to discuss a formation of a rebel movement. And it's funny because Singh and Chuchi were on opposite sides of the Clone Wars, because Singh was a separatist and Chuchi was part of the, the Galactic Republic or whatever. But they realized too, like, hey, the Republic turned to the Empire. This is some bull type thing. So it's kind of like the separatists were right, but hey, that's just me. Separatists had a reason why to separate.
I mean, but
And
even though they was being played on both sides, but still,
yeah, they was being played. Yeah, they were pawns. They were pawns in the grand
it's
scheme
propaganda.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So they're meeting. In the meantime, there's an assassin. There's we see like an assassin out there. The assassin tries to attack and kill Singh. It's a failed attack, and the clones that so Rex and his boys, his set of clones, they're able to take down the assassin by stunning them, and they remove the helmet, and it's like, yo, this is a clone here. They never seen no clone like this before. So they take him and they start to interrogate him, like, hey man, what's your name? Blah blah blah. And they come to find out on his little data pad type stuff that his name has been taken away, his rank and
He
everything
wipes
like that. And
everything.
they wiped everything. They're trying to talk to
His
him, and
chain code. Yeah.
yeah, chain code. They're like, yo, what's good? And he's like, he doesn't say nothing. And but they did find on his code that, yo, this man, the hit was for Senator Singh. And also there was another person on the hit that was a hit that kind of was they was out looking for. And it's our girl Omega. And so Rex and one of his other guys are like, hey, we need to contact the boys. We need to contact the
Mm-hmm.
batch and let them know, what's going on. Hey, meet us here. So Hunter, so you get to the ship, and Hunter is noticing that Omega isn't really up under him anymore. She's now all about crosshairs. She's doing a toothpick thing, and she's starting to pick up little mannerisms of crosshair. And Hunter's looking, and he's kind of like, he's just noticing this stuff. And so they get the message from Rex to come to their little secret base. They go to secret base, and like they're like, hey man, how you doing? Blah blah. And like one of the clones that was there with Rex was like, "Yo, what the hell is he doing here?" They see Cross, and they're like, "Yo, man, he's good or whatever." She's like, "Yeah, last time we met, you took out half my crew." You know what I'm saying? And stuff like it. It was about to be a big thing with that. And so, in the meantime, also Echo created a new weapon for Omega to have. He don't remember she had that big bulky, but he made like a smaller, like almost like pistol size version for her to version of that. And he's like, all right, I'm about to go get Gregor, now. So y'all do y'all thing and I will rendezvous with y'all. And they're telling the batch and they're telling them, hey, what I'm saying, so we got this thing, the Empire's looking for her or whatnot. And you was on Tannis, how, and she was like, hey, I don't know. And then the dude was like, well, I know he knows how. And he's like, Crosshair's like, my dog, like, listen, I was a prisoner there. I don't mean I know how to get there. We just got off that planet. And so this guy's really has it in. And they was like, well, we got this. Then this assassin clone. And that's when that man said, Crosshair said, y'all got what? He said, y'all got what y'all got? He said, we got one. He was like, yo, we got to get out of here. And he was like, why? He was like, yo, the
The
Empire
Empire's
takes
coming.
clone. He said, the Empire is coming. They're like, well, how do you know? He says, look here. Tannis just wasn't like a penal colony for clones and testing. There were clones who were still loyal to the Empire, that they did special training to make assassins and make these people, like, basically wipe their memories, not wipe their memories, but wipe their personality, this and that. And they was like, how do you know? He was like, man, they tried to do that to me. And they was like, oh, so how do we know you said? He says, hey man, I'm naturally defective, baby. That's what that's what the batch 99 is. They're defective batch or whatever. And so they go meet with the assassin that's being held prisoner. In the meantime, the Empire has dispatched another
Another
assassin,
one.
another clone assassin. And so the clone assassin that's being detained is like playing on their emotions. He know that they don't trust, that most of them don't trust Crosshairs, and they're like, hey, he's like, hey, yeah, buddy, you know what it's like, and he's like, hey man, he lying. And like they ready to start shooting, but that other assassin comes in, kills the power, this and that, starts taking folks out, and they basically are, are trying to escape. That second assassin sends a call that says, hey, I took care of the other dude, but guess who also here? That little bastard girl that y'all tried to get here too. And so the episode ends where he kind of destroys the little base type thing, and they're looking, and then the backup comes, and out of that backup, we see that the backup commander in charge,
Wolf.
Commander Wolf. I said, oh man, they got my guy Wolf. And
What?
so
I said, what a good way to bring him back into the story, because we know they
bring it
end up
back to
they end up chilling together anyway. So
yeah.
that was real good. And the next episode,
that was episode 6.
episode 8 is Extraction, and
Seven.
Sorry, 7 is Extraction,
Yeah.
and they basically trying to find a way to get out the spire. So he said, yo, is another way out? Of course, another way out. So in the middle of it, there's a little secret door. They go down with spiral case. And yo, that assassin droid is like it's like T-1000, man. Like that dude will not die. Like the entire episode is just how hard this dude is going to get his target. And I even though there's a couple scenes that was like pretty ridiculous, like this bastard should be dead, but he keep on coming back, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. How many
So
ways he should have died? He should have got blown up. He should have got caved in, and
he should have drowned at the waterfall.
He should have drowned at the waterfall at the end. Yeah,
because this man got stunned and then went off the waterfall. I'm like, he's not even conscious. Like he's just on impact. But yeah, but not anyway. So the basis of the episode is really just like an elongated chase. And also, nobody knows about these assassins.
Exactly.
because Wolf was like,
Wolf.
who are you and why are you here? It was
He
like,
said,
oh
"Who?
yeah.
What division you belong? Like, what division you belong to, cuz?"
I said, that is classified with your regular clone self. You know what I'm saying? And Wolf was like, man, I'm gonna talk to you later. You know what I'm saying? Like he's all like, I'm in charge. He's like, you're not and the assassin's like, okay.
All
And
right.
so the assassin the whole time is trying his best to find Omega and you know what I'm saying? And he is the boy's limping and hurt. Another cool thing about him too, their ship and their gear are kind of like in sync. So he has like remote features and stuff. Because remember he got out the ship, touched the button, the seat goes back into it, and it closes the door. Yeah, it was just that was a little tight, little tight inclusion. I like that. I said, oh man, that's neat. Yeah. But the whole, like I said, the whole episode is basically just like a big chase. Oh my bad. I was gonna say something. I mean, because really, it was good. It was a tense episode, but like it was really was just an episode of cat and mouse. The cool thing is here is just watching everybody having to get along, because by the end of the episode, the dude that was beefing with Crosshair, they started to like, all right, show you saved my life. Like, I guess I can.
He said you ain't the same dude that was on Rack. You're not the same guy that was on Raxus.
Because it was showing, because he was showing like compassion to Omega, like, look, yo, you behind me, you know what I'm saying, and I need you to,
I also love how Cross says you start to see that he's like now the father figure to her, and she's like, yo, you just as he said, you just as bad as Hunter. He says, no, actually, I'm worse. He says, I'm actually worse when it comes to that. And he was like really protective and worse. And not gonna say worse, but worse in a good way, where he was more overprotective of her than that even we've seen that Hunter has, because Hunter even at some point he realizes that Omega can't take care of herself a little bit, and he backs off just a little bit. Meanwhile, Crosshair is like, no, you stay up under my pocket, girl. Cool. I like how the episode ended, where they finally get to the rendezvous point, and they're like, "Oh, there goes a ship." That's not Echo. It's not Echo.
That is not our ship, guys.
Wrecker was like, that's not Echo. That's not our ship. And it's
like, we about to die today.
The Imperial ship opens up, and out comes Wolf with the other Imperial troopers. I think it was a combination of troopers and some clones.
I think it was all clone. I think it was an all clone unit. Because ain't no way
clone.
that would have ended like that if they were.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so Rex is like, Wolf, and Wolf said, Rex, hey man, I heard you.
I thought you died.
You died. Like I heard you went down with a ship. And he said, yeah, more or less. He says, I lost a lot of men, and you just lost a lot of men today. And he was like, and they was like, hey man, it's good to see. Wait a minute, are you with this group here? And he's like, look here, man. He said, you fighting against the Empire? He said, you fighting against us? He says, hold on, whoa. I'm not fighting against you. I'm fighting against the Empire, bro. And he's like, what do you mean? He was like, yo, man, they running tests on our brothers on Tannis, this and that. And then Wolf is like, man, that's not going on. What the hell are you talking about?
The Empire wouldn't do that to us.
They wouldn't do that to us. And that's when Omega was like, hey, yo, it's true. I promise you, it's not right. We trying to get our brothers back, and we just trying to this and that. And he basically appeals to Wolf's inner clone, and they have a conversation. And he's like, hey man, just let us go. And then he just is like, he tells his men to stand down. He lets them leave, and the clones are like, you just gonna do that? He was like, look here, man. We did our mission. Let's round up his men. So I think they're gonna do a proper burial for the clones that did pass away. Round up the you know what I'm saying, the fallen, and we getting up out of here. And then right before the episode ends, you see that Rex is on the ship with the batch, and they're talking, and he's like, and like Hunter is like, look, man, I know what you've been trying to do. The Empire is too big and too powerful for you to try to do this on your own, bro. Like it's not gonna work. And then I think that's Rex realizes, yeah, you're right, but we need to protect her. And I think now Rex is going to be on more missions with he's basically a part of the crew now with the boys. That's what I think we're going to have now. Rex joining the batch and helping them do their thing.
Yeah,
And
cause man on the
that
inside.
was episode that was what, episode 7?
Mm-hmm.
So we have now 7 more episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, 15 of
8, 7,
these.
8.
And then like
Yep.
I think 9 and 10 are like are same day as well.
10 and 11.
Yeah, one of them joints.
10 and
Yeah.
11 are the
10 and
same.
11 is on
Yeah,
the
10 and
same
11
day.
are the same day.
So yeah.
So, we're getting through this, and this is going to probably wrap up the whole clone series from what I understand from what we understand. I mean, so this is basically putting a nice little bow on the clone series or whatever. Like, I like the Bad Batch, and at first I was like, do we really need this series? Because the way Clone Wars ended, I think was perfect. We didn't, I don't think, really need
Oh, it was
the
definitive, you know what
bad.
I'm saying?
Yeah, it was definitive. We didn't really the bad, but I think the Bad Batch series is helping along tie in the prequels, not the prequel, the sequel series into, what I'm saying, what we got now along with the TV shows that we have.
It
So
does. It's
they're
it's a it's a
still,
good little in between
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like right after Clone Wars ends and the Empire
Mm-hmm.
starts, a
Yeah.
transition right into,
Wiley.
into
Yeah.
Rebels and all that.
Because
But
we
yeah,
still we still supposed to get, I say supposed to get, the Filoni Star Wars movie, because there are certain rumors going around with Disney and stuff, but saying we're not going to really talk about it until stuff is a little bit more definitive and we hear some more stuff. But there are certain rumors going around that Disney's going to do with Star Wars, and not just Star Wars, but with
the
MCU as
whole
well. Some stuff is
everything
getting
whole.
canceled. Even some Pixar stuff is getting, saying canceled as well. But Filoni is supposed to be doing a movie that is basically tying all of the live action shows together. I wonder if that also includes some stuff from the Bad Batch, as saying as well, depending on how the Bad Batch ends. And I'm really interested to see what's happening, because one thing about Star Wars we've seen is they always want to show us how certain people got to certain points in the story, because we don't know. We didn't hear anything about the Bad Batch until this series came out. We didn't hear nothing about Omega until this is like, where the hell is Omega at? Or what, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Are we ever going to see Boba Fett in the Bad Batch? Because that is a big part of this. You know what I mean? And are we possibly going to see a live action version of Omega, or a couple of a live action version of maybe a member of the batch that may have survived or something like that? So
Yeah,
we
I
don't
mean
know, but
it's totally up for grabs, man. I mean, they could if they really wanted to. And I know I'm not sure how some of that time or some works, but I mean, but either way, like
yeah,
it's definitely could is open for possibility.
yeah, definitely, man. So
That's all we got for this one, though. If
that's
you
all we
are
got, man.
watching this, man, like if you got to the first season of Bad Batch and you still watching, you the real MVP. The season one was
Yeah,
rough, but yeah, that's
yeah.
all we got for this one. We will be
Mm-hmm.
back next week. No, 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 not for this. We'll be back next week. Oh man, so much stuff coming up. If you're not watching Showing on FX, watch that. We do reviews for that.
Yeah.
Also, end of the month, Godzilla, Kong, New Empire. Can't wait for that.
And don't
And
forget
what
X-Men
else?
97,
X-Men
March
97
20th.
next
That's
week.
yeah.
Next
Yeah,
week.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Woo! I'm sorry. Yeah, next week, man, X-Men 97. And some weird goings on with that too, but until we get some
Boy.
information, we'll talk about that later. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's it, man. We appreciate you guys. To the next one.